The universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature. This fact is rarely, if ever, experienced by most individuals. From this point of view, the universe in general and playing in particular are, in a special sense, meaningless. That is, they do not, like words and symbols, signify or point to something beyond themselves. Zen is simply the sensation and the clear understanding that there is behind the multiplicity of events and creatures in this universe simply one energy. And it appears as you, and everything is it. The practice of Zen is to understand that one energy so as to feel it in your bones. The form of Christianity differs from the form of nature because in the church and in its spiritual atmosphere we are in a universe that has been made. This hallucination underlies the misuse of technology for the violent subjugation of man's natural environment. And consequently, its eventual destruction. We are therefore in urgent need of a sense of our own existence which is in accord with the physical facts. You and I are as much continuous with the universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. And which overcomes our feeling of alienation from the universe? You and I are as much continuous with the universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. Every manifestation of life is impermanent. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. The world is precisely the relationship between the world and its witnesses. And so if there are no eyes in this world, the sun doesn't make any light, nor do the stars. The earth is geological, yes, but this geological entity grows people. The earth is not a big rock infested with living organisms any more than your skeleton is bones infested with cells. The earth is geological, yes, but this geological entity grows people. And so the existence of people is symptomatic of the kind of universe we live in. I have realized that the past and future are real illusions, that they exist in the present, which is what there is and all there is. The universe is looking at and exploring itself. Man is as much attached to nature as a tree. For his life he depends absolutely on the same factors as the tree, the worm and the fly on the universal powers of nature. Life, God, or whatever it may be. Though he walks freely on two legs and is not rooted in the soil, he is by no means a self-sufficient, self-moving and self-directing entity. The ego is simply your symbol of yourself. Just as the word water is a noise that symbolizes a certain liquid without being it. So too the idea of ego symbolizes the role you play, who you are, but it is not the same as your living organism. The ego is nothing other than the focus of conscious attention. The most strongly enforced of all known taboos is the taboo against knowing who or what you really are behind the mask of your apparently separate, independent, and isolated ego. Your real self, the real you, is everything there is, but concentrated and expressing itself at the point called your physical organism. Your ego has about as much control over what goes on as a child sitting next to his father in a car with a plastic steering wheel. When the police enter a house in which there are thieves, the thieves go up from the ground floor to the first floor. When the police arrive on the first floor, the thieves have gone up to the second, and so to the third, and finally out to the roof. And so, when the ego is about to be unmasked, it immediately identifies with the higher self. The ego self was never there in the first place, so how can it be gotten rid of? What actually goes is the false belief that there is an ego. Likewise, improvement can occur, but there is no one who improves. The ego is a social institution with no physical reality. Ego is just self-referencing and self-reflective thinking. As Alan Watts said, there is thought, thought, thinker, thought, thought, thinker, thought, etc. Regular self-referencing and self-reflective thoughts give the impression of a thinker ego. Kind of like how swinging a sparkler in the dark can give an impression of a circle. The ego isn't a fixed thing. It's our self-concept that our mind invents and projects onto the reality. Watts usually has one see that they are the cosmos and identify with that. In this sense, the ego becomes the entire cosmos. This is very much a Zen thing and to some extent a Buddhist thing. Neither of these is inherently true or inherently wrong. The true meaning is that everything exists within consciousness and that the expression of the outer is a reflection of the inner state. That is why the principle of trust works in the universe according to Alan Watts. They open the sublimated memory gates of the how. That real processes of that consciousness are the memory, future projection, balancing, choosing, and the ability to transition between phases of waking, sleep, and ultimately life, death, and reincarnation. The real consciousness knows how to direct movement via the nervous system, etc. Alan and many of the others refer to the standard minimal state as the ego or lower self. The you who you think you are does not exist. What you are basically, deep down, far in, is simply the fabric and structure of existence itself. Become what you are. It has been said that the highest wisdom lies in detachment. The disappearance of the effort to let go is precisely the disappearance of the separate thinker, of the ego trying to watch the mind without interfering.